You have the power to create the happiest version of yourself. When I was 18 years old, I found with a friend of mine my first company. We gave seminars in schools and helped high school students to better communicate, to better present, especially in stressful presentations. And we did it in the area of communication, presentation skills, rhetoric, and switched later on thematically to NLP, hypnosis, switched to universities, more to companies. But after school, I didn't encourage myself to continue with this small business, but I decided to do something safe, something rational, because all my friends did it, all my family expected it from me to do something which was secure for the future. So I started a dual study program with a huge IT company, and I studied business administration. So something safe, something rational, something good. And afterwards, I got offered a job in this company, so I accepted it because it was what all of us did, accepting a job in a huge company, getting good money, right? But when I was working there, I had a vision in my head, a new idea, an innovation. The vision was to re-innovate the smartphone address book. So I had a product idea for founding my second startup, a new company, for changing the world in my mind. And that was the point when I skipped out the company and I met some co-founders and started to develop business models. I started to do SWOT analysis. I started to do marketing, to think about how to get the product to the people. But finally, we crashed. So just to remind you what I did, I started with seminars and coaching. Then I worked in the IT company, and then I founded the IT startup. And I always thought during these phases what makes me happy. And I believed always that if I work hard, I will get successful, and if I will be successful, I will get happy. That this was like the formula for happiness. But I still owe you an answer why we crashed with the product, with this IT startup. It was because we didn't make any revenue, and so we didn't make any profit. And without profit, it's quite difficult to survive with a company. So we had one hope, because we saw that our product was used in one context on events, that our software could make it easier to network on events. So we started over again to develop a new product. To do SWOT analysis, we set up a new revenue model, and we were more successful. But interestingly, as more successful as we were, as less happy I was. So I started to doubt the formula. As more or as hard I work, as more successful we are. And as more successful we are, as happier I will be. And I realized that when one day I woke up in the morning, and as a founder or as an owner of a company, you don't need to go to the office. You can work from home if you want to. So I sat there on the couch, and I was so demotivated to start doing anything. I had to write some offers. I had to call some clients. I had to optimize some processes, but I didn't want to. I just sat there and I wanted to watch a movie. So I started to watch a movie. And afterwards, I watched another movie. And I watched another movie, and in total this day I watched 4 movies, but I did not do anything for work. Because I didn't want to. I was so demotivated to do anything, not for work, not for anything intellectual, not watching any interesting video, just comedy movies. And after this day, I asked myself a question: why do I do this? Why do I do what I do? And interestingly, this was the same question I asked myself after skipping out, or before skipping out from the IT company. Why do I do what I do? And that was the reason why I started my own startup, because I thought, if I do what is my vision, I definitely will get happier. And as well, within the seminar company, after some years, when I had a fight with my co-founder, a fight about how to continue with the company, I asked myself the same question. And 1 year ago, when I had like this demotivating phase in the startup, I talked to my co-founder, Nicholas Matt, from the seminar company, and I told him about this, and he said to me, you know what, I had the same thing when we had this fight about how to continue. I asked myself, why do I do what I do? So we thought, is there some formula for happiness? And we started to research, because we had the ambition to create the happiest version of ourselves. And the first question we needed to answer was, what means happiness? And we found in the scientific research one quite good answer to that question in the self-determination theory. And they say that happiness means that you're intrinsically motivated to do something. So the next question was how to find out what is my intrinsic motivation for doing something. And we started to research, and we watched videos, we read books, we read articles in the internet, and we saw, as we dived into this topic, that all tools which you need to evaluate what is your intrinsic motivation already exist. You just have to adapt them to the personal life. And we found one tool which is especially interesting, or which was especially interesting for us, Business Model U by Tim Clark. But as we used this tool and as we adapted it to our life, and as well as we integrated it in our seminars, we saw that there were 2 parts missing: a good analysis at the beginning and an integration of the business model, integration of the life model into the behavior, the daily behavior of the person. So we set up a new model, and this model contains 3 layers. The first layer is the analysis, the second layer is the creation, and the third layer is the integration. But before I start presenting you the model, I want to give you 2 preconditions for this model. The first precondition is happiness is not universal. In my seminars, I ask people often, what are your goals for the next 3 to 5 years? And many of them answer to me, I want to be happy. And if I ask them, what is happiness for you? Every one of them gives me his own definition of happiness. So some of them want to have tangible assets or tangible things like cars or houses or boats. And some of them want to have intangible things like traveling the world, finding the right partner, or as well having children. So happiness is not universal. My definition of happiness is helping people to develop themselves, to create the happiest version of themselves, spending time with friends, and as well finding a partner who loves, respects, and values me. That's my personal definition of happiness. And the second point is, we compare a person to a business. So we adapted the analysis and as well the business model from a person, from a business context to a person. We do SWOT analysis for a person. We do a FRIA analysis for the person, a value chain analysis for the person, and adapted it to a personal life. And as in a company, you need to re-evaluate the needs and the context and iterate your concepts. You need to do it as well within a personal context, because you as a person as well develop. So, as I told you already, the concept consists of 3 layers. The first layer is the analysis. And as if you build up a house and the basement is not stable, the house will be unstable the whole life. And that's just the same within the model. You need to analyze deeply what you're doing. So what are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What am I doing at the moment, and how do I behave when I'm doing what I'm doing? The second part is the setup or the creation of the current life model and of the future desired life model, and then the definition of the measures, how to reach the future life model. And the third and last step in the model is the integration, and that's the most important part of the whole model. Like 2 years ago, I talked to a friend of mine, the founder of Freeletics, which is one of the most successful fitness apps worldwide. And I asked him, Joshua, why are you so successful? I mean, you have 1,000 of fitness guides, you have 1,000 of fitness books, of videos and whatever in the internet. So why are you so successful? And he told me, we are not successful because we have better exercises, but because we emphasize not on the exercises, but on the motivation, on the packaging, on how to integrate the new behavior into the life of the people. I mean, I ask you, who of you knows, just think about it, who of you knows how to create the perfect six-pack? And who of you has the perfect six-pack? So the integration in the life is the most important and most difficult part of this tool. So we have adapted storytelling and vision building of the company context to the personal development context. So to wrap it up, we have built up a tool with which you can create the happiest version of yourself via an analysis phase, a creation phase, and third and most importantly, an integration phase. Creating the happiest version of yourself is not an easy job, but it's worth to do it. Thank you very much.